It's been 6 years, 4 remakes, a spin-off title, and a sequel to The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. But in March of 2017, Nintendo finally released the newest installment for the Legend of Zelda series on their new home console, or handheld. It's interesting. Nintendo decided to change its approach to game structure in the latest Legend of Zelda. The series has always been an open-world adventure, but with a regular path of progression which spurs the storyline forward. Breath of the Wild takes the open-world approach to the next level. When I first booted up the game, I really wasn't sure what to expect. Having seen the previews for it, I had a rough idea of the gameplay style, but nothing could have prepared me for what I got from this game. Upon stepping out of the Chamber of Resurrection and seeing the massive world Nintendo had put before me, I was left speechless. Normally with open world games, there's so much to do and explore that I often find myself overwhelmed. But this was different. Instead of feeling brain cramped with everything going on, I felt a surging sense of excitement. One thing that separated this game from the others in the series was the amnesia element they added to the story. When Link awakened after 100 years of sleep, he had no recollection of the world around him or the events prior. Having not seen this element in any of the previews, I was in the same situation as Link. We were both exploring this massive new world, not knowing what to expect. Now don't get me wrong, the world is massive, but it feels sort of empty. When I say it's empty, I don't mean that in a literal sense because there's always animals and enemies running around. What I mean is that there isn't a lot of civilization, which makes sense since Link lost to Calamity Ganon 100 years ago and things sort of went up in smoke. The tale is nothing new or earth-shattering, I'll admit. Link wakes up in a dark cave 100 years after a great battle and hears a voice calling out to him. Link is tasked with helping the post-apocalyptic Hyrule Castle return to its former glory. Link is informed that Zelda is at Hyrule Castle doing her best to hold back the power of Calamity Ganon, the overpowered Shadow Beast and the main villain of the game. You come to learn that you have lost all of your memories and that you used to be Zelda's head knight. You are tasked with going to the 4 corners of the world to restore the power of the 4 divine beasts, to help Zelda take down Calamity Ganon. The characters we meet in this iteration are incredibly well done. One very noticeable difference in this game was the use of voice acting. That's right, real people voicing characters in a Zelda game, with Link being the exception, of course.
Just as I thought. It appears that this structure was designed to be exclusively accessed by the sword's chosen one.
There are the main characters, Link and Zelda, but we are also introduced to 4 new characters that join your strike force against Calamity Ganon. We meet these characters in ghost form in their respective divine beasts or in the memories. The first one was Mipha, the sweetheart Zora. She resides in the Zora's domain in her divine beast Varuda. Upon taming the beast, we learn through a memory that she has a secret crush on Link and was the team healer, which worked out well since Link always ends up getting the most cuts and bruises. At Death Mountain, we meet Daruk, the ever so eloquent Goron, who ironically is the tank of the crew.
They better eat their gravel if they want to keep up with the group.
Revile is the team marksman and all-around arrogant jerk, and he resides in the Rito village. Finally, heading into the Gerudo Desert, you meet Urbosa, the Gerudo warrior you do not want to piss off. Seriously, she can call down lightning in a second. The most in-depth and revealing character though is Princess Zelda. Zelda is different than she is in the other games. In this installment, she is tasked with acquiring the power to seal away Calamity Ganon. However, every attempt she's made at getting the power has failed, and we see her frustration building throughout the game. Since you are the hero chosen by the sword that can seal away the darkness, and her appointed knight, you remind her of all her failures simply by being around her. She is well aware that she has not been able to summon the power to seal the darkness thus far, so she turns to relics and science to try and find a way, much to her father's dismay. In the lost memories you collect around Hyrule, we really get to see the character develop as well as the events leading up to the attack 100 years ago. These memories are well hidden, but they are worth every minute of searching. We see a side of Zelda that's never been shown in the previous games, a side we can sympathize with, even pity at times. At one point we even see her crying in Link's arms because she has failed to seal the darkness again. The voice acting they implemented in the game really lends to fleshing out the characters and adding a whole new depth of emotion to the story. When you first wake up in Breath of the Wild, you are given access to the Sheikah Slate, basically a makeshift Wii U gamepad. It's used as the hub for the map along with giving you the use of different relics. These relics vary from traditional bombs to the ability to freeze time, and instead of having a magic meter like in games past, they recharge over a short time. The tutorial introduces you to the biggest component of the game, shrines. There are 120 shrines in the game, and they are placed all over Hyrule, and you are going to want to hit up as many as you can. Solving the sometimes challenging trials will reward you with a Spirit Orb. Collect 4 of these orbs and trade them in to get a heart container or upgrade your stamina meter. On the topic of stamina meters, I'll admit I was not feeling good after Skyward Sword. The stamina bar works quite well, and having the ability to upgrade it 3 times its size takes the sting out of the feature a bit though. The massive world of Hyrule is filled with consumables and collectibles that will be used during your adventure. You collect a wide variety of swords, shields, and bows along with upgradable armor. Weapons are all degradable, and some last longer than others, but eventually everything in the game will break. Now I'll admit, as cool as it was to have a multitude of weapons in the game, I would have appreciated having at least one unbreakable weapon in the game, or given the ability to repair the damaged ones. It doesn't have to be the strongest weapon, but at least reward me in some way to make sure that I have a weapon to fight with at all times, as opposed to using a torch or something. Throughout Hyrule, you will also collect berries, meats, flowers, bugs, and everything else you can think of to create dishes and elixirs to help you along in your adventure. Trust me when I say you're going to need it, because you are going to die. A lot. I've been playing Zelda since I was in diapers. I have never died so many times in a Legend of Zelda game in my life. You will run into creatures thinking, oh, this will be a piece of cake, and then you'll go to fight, and you'll get one shot like a Dark Souls boss. Other than the difficulty during the first playthrough, the combat mechanics feel very fluid and the layout is user-friendly. All enemies have a readable health bar and the lock-on system works very well. Nintendo's angle on an open-world concept game was executed fantastically. Between small villages, stables, Sheikah Slates, and the shrines located around Hyrule, there are numerous places to explore and the sites are truly unique. What I find is often missed in massive open-world games is the accessibility to really go anywhere. In Breath of the Wild, every shrine you come across is a warp point, along with the towers placed all over the map that not only give you a destination to fast travel to, but are so high in the air that you can paraglide incredible distances. One facet of the game that really adds to the sense of the open-world freedom is that everything is climbable. However, the dynamic weather system likes to screw with you a lot by making it rain, causing Link to lose his grip and slide just when you're almost at the top of the obstacle and have very little stamina left. Swimming is also a massive chore and will most likely lead you to drowning, at least until you get the Zora's armor, which makes it somewhat reasonable, I guess. Starting off playing in either tablet mode on the Switch or TV mode, Breath of the Wild looks absolutely stunning. I have always supported the notion that you don't need lifelike graphics to make a game look good, if you aesthetically stylize everything. The environments are rich and colorful, from the grass gently swaying in the breeze to the fire fluttering on a torch. Character designs is creative and intuitive, making all the factions in the world feel unique and different. The music in the game is almost non-existent, but the music it does contain suits the game perfectly. At first I hated the subtlety of the soundtrack, but as I played it more and more, I realized how much it really fits the game. You just have to appreciate the nuances of it. Basically, the game will last as long as you want it to. If you want to do a speedrun, you can skip about 95% of the game and go fight Ganon. But if you want the whole experience, then I highly suggest exploring the world, collecting weapons, getting upgrades, and doing the side quests. You can easily get 40 to 50 hours of regular gameplay, and if you are bold enough to go for 100%, Lord have mercy, good luck. I'll admit that the 6-year-long wait was a struggle. The final product turned out to be near perfect though. It was everything I could have asked in the new Zelda installment and a perfect launch title to help Nintendo sell the new Switch console. Fans both new and old will fully enjoy this game.